cloud. Right on. Okay. That's like that. There like that. And like that. Perfect. Okay, so on the screen, you see what we got to do. Homework back. I still have some more to do. That is some more to correct at my end. But I'll give back what you got. If you have a check mark, then that means life is great. And you don't have to worry until the next test or quiz or something like that. Shows you know your stuff. If you got one of these and a check again, it means you got some corrections to make. And so take some time to do that. Check with your classmates for some help. Check with me as well. And then we'll get that stuff sorted out. All right. Pretty good so far. And yeah, I recognize there's a lot of it, right? She's student in class is like, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, that's how it is. That's what I do. Practice it and make it good. Okay. So got here a little warm up from what we were doing the other day. Slope intercept. So a couple questions coming up on the screen here. And then when that's done, today's topic, which is at the top, just a different style for writing a line. It's the nicest one of the bunch. Okay. So a couple warm up first here. If you want to break out your pens, pencils, piece of paper, warm up your brain. Help me out with this. Number one. What is the slope and the y-intercept of a line that looks like this? I'll say this one to start with. Y is equal to 2 over 3x minus 11. 2 over 3 times x minus 11. Looking for two things. Two numbers are there. It's like 50-50. You get them right or you get them backwards. One of the two. Got a hand up here in class. Okay, mister, what do you got? That's right. Slope is going to be the number in front of x all the time when it's written in this style, right? Style being y is equal to m times x plus b, like that. Yeah. And so we've got the slope taken care of, the m. What is the b going to be? Not bad. The sign is, yeah. Okay. Minus 11, like that.
Mr. Mike,
Yeah.
you are not sharing the screen, so I can't see your screen right now.
Unbelievable. I thought it was all set up and working nicely today. Thanks. Huh?
Yeah, just in Zoom, like you close your camera in Zoom, I think.
Yeah, no, I just forgot, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
So it is sharing. I'm going to do a quick backup for the video people. Wasn't sharing the screen. This is what we're doing today. Homework back. This means good. This means do a little more. This is what we're doing right now, a little warm up. And today's topic afterwards. All right, so the warm up, yeah, good contributions. Slope is the number in front of the x, and then the y-intercept is that lone number there at the end. Another question, same type. Slope is equal to what? And y-intercept is equal to what for this situation? 3x plus y minus 12 for this one.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome.
I'm sorry for late.
That's okay. Zoom had a little hiccup. I wasn't sharing my screen.
Yeah, you share the screen.
Oh, yeah, it is now, but earlier it wasn't. So you didn't miss too much. Okay, we can check afterwards. Okay, but from class we got an answer to this question, I think here. What do we got to do? Oh, yeah, okay. Give me the final answer as usual there. Go ahead. M is -3, I'm hearing. B is 12, I'm hearing. Okay, well, let's find out if this is so or not. Let's find out if this is true. What do we got to do? Yeah, as usual, for the slope intercept form, you got to set it up in this style, right? In this format. Okay, so what has to, what is in place already? The y is in place already. We have a y by itself. It's positive, invisible 1 in front. Up here, we got y, not by itself yet, but it is positive, and there's the invisible 1. So this will stay where it is. The others will move. Yeah? And when they move, which means to the other side of the equal sign, when they move, what happens and what do you get? Yeah, when you move things to the other side with adding, subtracting, the sign changes. Okay, so the y is going to stay. We have a plus 3x, so that's going to switch to a minus 3x now. Yeah, and yeah, class has got it here. What'd you say about the 12? Yeah, plus 12, that's right. So set up nicely now. Same style as y equals mx plus b. We just need the answers now. What's the slope? In front of the x is a -3. What is the y-intercept? 12. That's right, 12. And you know what? Put the plus in there just to emphasize it. If you don't, of course, it's not a big deal. You miss the minus, that's a big deal. Right? And yeah, good work. Okay, that takes that away there. All right, so we'll leave it like this for now. Remember, there could be some graphing questions and things like that, but I'm not going to do a, actually, yeah, I am. I can do a graphing question like this, and so can you. Number 3, last one, last for the warm-ups. Find the slope-intercept equation of this situation here. You got a good looking straight line going like that. You got the graph. Draw the line first and then the points. It's just, it looks better. little math trick. Because if you miss, then you just got to make the dot bigger and it's not so nice. We'll say this one's at 0, and because it's underneath, right? It's going to be minus now, right? So don't forget that. Okay. And minus what? Minus y, because up and down is for y. So I'm going to say -3 just because. Okay. No real reason. Over here, kind of to scale, I guess. By my eyeball, this would be some. What's that? This is so something that you have to pay attention to in particular. X goes first, and then y. All right. So for this point, what value is going to be bigger, the x or the y? Okay, the x will be. And yeah, funny enough, if you said, did you say 6? Yeah, I was thinking 6 too, actually. Okay, but for the x value. Gee, unbelievable. Got a future math teacher here in class. Exactly what I was thinking. 6 and 2. Not exactly 3, right? But Yeah. There we go. Okay, so this is the situation now. I have all this information here, these points given to you. Remember, you might have to read them off a graph if it was more professional up here, right? But what do we got to do?
In this slope is like y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1.
Not bad.
It's going to be 2 minus minus 3 or 2 plus 3 and 6 minus 0 is 6 and it's going to be like 5 over 6.
Yeah, good. So in class, we had a description about this first idea. Find the slope. And there are different ways for doing that. Rise over run. But the student in class here decided to use describe it with the formula. You know, and I use that too. Just it's pretty automatic, right? Once you find the slope, yeah, we can do that now actually. Using the formula, because this will all fit nicely. Find the slope number 1, here it is. I think it is 2. I'm going to write the formula, but all I know down here we have a minus sign. So that we got to be super careful with that. Integers, right? Yeah, I'm going to probably put a bracket in there. If I see minuses, I want them contained all together, right? Not floating around all over the place. So you might want to do this step to start with. Label them, right? The one on the left, I usually put as 1.1. And on the one on the right, X is first all the time. Don't forget, or life will be sad. Second there. Okay, you just hang on to your answer and let me get caught up there, all right? You can help me out. What goes in for Y2? 2 indeed. Yeah, here's what you got to watch. Okay, the formula says subtract. Subtract what? Y1. What's Y1 going to be? No, it's minus 3. Yeah, exactly. Because watch this. This is what's on the top. It's not 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3 is this. 2 minus 3. On the top, we got 2 minus 3. It matters because remember our integers last time. Something special happens with this situation. 2 minuses side by side like that. Okay, it's a big deal for this. Otherwise, what might be an easy calculation, an easy question, might turn weird if this number ends up being wrong. Okay, so we'll keep that there and we'll make it correct in the next step there, or keep going in the next step. On the bottom, what do we got? 6. Yeah.
And
Minus.
0.
Yeah, minus. That's so nice. Seeing a minus 0. Just that's a nice, easy calculation down there, right? Better than all this integer stuff, right? Yeah, I know. Okay, so I'm gonna move my water markers. I'm gonna continue this in a line just so, or actually, no, I won't. I'm gonna move it over here so that I have room on my page for other things. Oh, still wanna see it though. The slope now, working on the top. Okay, this is where the super important bit comes in. Minusing a minus, what happens?
Become plus.
Yeah, it becomes plus, okay? So that means we're going to have 2 plus 3 on the top. On the bottom, what is this? That's right. Sometimes people get excited when they see the 0 and they say 0. They don't mean it. They write down 6, but they say it. It's just like, okay, steady on. So the slope there What does it end up being? 5/6. Multiply 2 and 3? No, this ends up being 2 plus 3, which turns into the 5 that's there. Because of these brackets there, are they still on the screen? This is subtraction though. So it's in between. If you want to multiply, it would look like this. See, in between, the brackets make this one thing. The 2 is one thing. And go up here. So not this one. We talked about that one. This is multiplying. -3 is one thing. 2, of course, is one thing. And there's no sign in the middle. So that means times. One of the ways for showing times there. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So that's different than this. We have the minus that's stuck in between those. Okay. So you don't need to do this part. I guess you can for your notes, but when you're solving one of these problems, we now know the slope is 5x plus b. So just as a teacher step there, show it in place. Yeah,
I have a question.
sure.
Why we don't put like -5/6
Why not -5/6? Because with my brain, I just go back to the formula. Well, there's two reasons actually. So the formula gives me this. We were super careful, right? This turns into a plus down there, if you can see it. Yeah, it looks pretty good today. It's not bad, right? And what you do is, this is inside an invisible set of brackets. And so you have to work that out separate from the 6. So what's +2 + 3? 5 like that. No minus. The minuses are gone. Okay. Second thing that you can notice to check just to make sure, if you're going like this over to the right and then up, that means the slope is going to be positive. Or in other words, if you are an ant walking on a hill, we're always going to be going to the right. If you're going uphill, then the view is getting better. The slope is positive. Okay. And that's what we have here as well. So the picture matches the numbers, and that's good. Okay. Now then, we got this far. What do we need to be successful? Yeah, B. Where are we going to get this from? Close. Oh. B, where is this? This is where the graph crosses the y-axis, right? And, in a few days, we'll have some algebra for that. But for us right now, all we can do is look at the picture. And where is this graph crossing the y-axis? Right down here. What's the y value? Just read it off if it's not given to you, right? So -3 for free there. Right, and so we can put that all together now. We got this far earlier, just putting our slope in. We put our y-intercept in, and we are done then. Right, and so we get y is equal to 5/6x, and then -3 like that. Khalas, finished. All right. So how's everybody feeling about that? Yeah? Warm up was suitable? Yeah? Yeah, I think so. A little refresher after the weekend, covering all the bits. Yeah, okay. Let's move on then. Take a look at what's next. So that means onto the screen there. And what do we have next? All right, we got this. So a different style for writing a line. There it is on the top. Straight up. Y minus Y1 equals M. All those brackets are going to matter. Those minuses are going to matter. Right? So what's going to happen is, this is probably new for you, or a little bit new. New in this way. X1, Y1. What we're going to do is we're going to put actual coordinates in there. Actual numbers. Right? The X and the Y that you see in there, they're just going to stay as X and Y. These are the variables that are going to be in the equation. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work with these in order to create this style. The last piece is we need the M, which is the slope, which we now know a few ways to get. Right? We got the formula. That's one way. Rise over run, that's another. Is there another one? Thought there was 3. Just 2? Yeah? I was thinking maybe read off the graph, but that's kind of this one. We'll put it as separate because graphs they're their own thing. Okay, so these are the bits and pieces we're going to be looking at. Oh, one other important thing we're going to need to be aware of are the integers as well. And all those minuses and opposite things, okay? Yeah, in particular, I'll say opposites. Something's a plus, the opposite is a minus, and that sort of thing. Okay, so on the screen, not on the camera, but the screen shows you, the first point, X1, Y1. The specific point, going to be some numbers we put in there. Slope is, as we know. This here is some math theory for you. The idea is that, these things come from somewhere, and you should understand the process where these things do come from, as opposed to just believing your teacher all the time. Not a bad thing for the, this math stuff, but this shows you where it comes from. So that is where this particular style of equation comes from. So all that happens is, you see how there's an M there and the Y's there and the X there for the slope? All that happens is those X's go upwards to be with the M. See? The X's, they were on the bottom. They would be on the bottom over here if we wrote that fraction up and down like. But we just put them over there. And now we have the top part, the Y's there by itself. One other change is that while we leave the X1 and the Y1 there, we put variables in for the X2 and the Y2. Instead of leaving those, we just put our X and Y's in there. Yeah, so that's it. we have a slope formula, which we've used already quite a few times. These are in invisible sets of brackets because they're in a fraction. The x's will go up with the m there. x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. And then the last thing is a little switch there. All right, so we have x instead of x2 minus x1, and then y minus y1, just like that. Now, if you look at this, this is what makes this style so nice. All you have to do to create it is find the slope, which we've talked about. And the second thing is just substitute in a point that is on the line. And then just as a heads up, you just got to watch your integers when you do that substitution step there. So yeah, I think we have quite a few questions, but yeah, they're all going to be organized in basically this sort of way. Find the slope in some manner, find a point, substitute it in, enjoy your life. Okay, so let's see what we got. Yeah, this is the third point basically. x1, y1 we're going to keep. x2, y2 we're going to substitute out, switch out. Right? Okay, so on the screen what you're doing is they switch first and then move afterwards. I moved first and then switched. See, so the x2 and y2 are gone now. Y and x are in there. The x goes up. Voila, done. That's where we want to be for this style. Substitute means take a number and put it into one of these variables here. Replace is what substitute means. Yeah? Okay. Replace a letter with a number. Okay. What's the difference between this line and that line? Y's are on the left-hand side. Western habits. No big deal. Okay. So our goal, one of the goals here is to be able to create graphs with these by looking at one of these equations. So you're probably going to, it says put the equation in slope point form. You're probably going to be giving it that way. Okay. This first step then is find a starting point, or at least one point that's on the line, right? Treat it as a starting location. This is the integer bit. We're going to have to be careful going from the equation to this one point. This is where opposites are going to kick in. I'll show you that. Okay. Get the slope somehow. Oh, actually, no, we're creating a graph. The slope will be staring at you right in the equation. Okay. So once we have the point and the slope, we can just start at this point, use the slope to get to another location, and then we're good. We have two dots, connect the dots, and we're done. Okay, so the words are sometimes vague until you see an actual example, right? So we'll do that. We'll do one next. From class, a question. Y2 becomes Y. That's right. Yeah, that's the trick for this style. Yeah. Okay, so with those ideas in mind, oh yeah, this thing here. This is the opposite, okay? So we're gonna have our equation, and then we're gonna pull out from the equation our starting point. Signs are opposite. See? If you see an x minus 3 in the brackets, it means it comes from the point with plus 3. If you see y minus 3 in the brackets, it comes from a plus 3. So there's a couple of examples showing this coming up here. Okay. Opposites, right? If it's plus 3 in the equation, minus 3 for the point. Same with the y's. All right, so we're not going to be graphing the whole thing yet. We're just going to check out the starting point from this. So looking at that equation, I say starting point, it's more like a point. All right. What you look for are the opposites. So we have, for the x, we'll do that first. You see how it's x minus 2 on the screen there? Yeah. So since it's x minus 2, that means for x1, it's going to equal plus 2. That's what this opposite business means. Okay. Similarly, y is there as well, right? Yeah, y minus 3. So same thought. Yeah, plus 3 just to emphasize it there. Again, so x1 and y1 like that, right? And we're going to graph later on, right? But just to show you then, what we now know is we got 1, 2 along the x, 1, 2, 3 along the y. That's where our starting point is. Okay.
So in this question, m is 2.
M is 2, that's right. Yeah, that's in the front there. We're going to deal with that later on. So for here, I was just going to say we can plot the point. What next? Do the slope, rise, run, and stuff, and then we can get the rest of it. Okay? But I want to highlight the opposites for this, this particular example. And the next one too, I believe. Oh, what's this? Gives for free. There it is. Starting point, right? Or point on the line. That's actually a better way to say it. But okay, so another one. Watch the opposites there. Looking at this one.
6 is minus 2 and y is
Indeed. So reading off those from the a little.
these 2 points, this and the other one is in the same line.
No, these are two different examples. These are,
I know, but I think if you put it in the what's this?
so this is the Cartesian, that's the Cartesian system. XY axes, that's also one of these. Yeah.
If you put the number in this, it's going to be in the same line.
Oh, it could, is it? Are they the same line from the earlier example? Depends. It might be the same line. Watch with the markers. It might be the same line where they overlap, or because the slope is the same and I don't know about where they cross, they might be parallel to one another. Okay, a later topic, but interesting he pointed it out. Okay, For this, focus on this slide though, we want the opposite signs. So what's the x going to be for our point? We got x plus 2 on the screen there. And so that means our starting x value will be what? Opposites, right? So we got a plus 2 on the inside. What's the opposite of plus 2? Minus 2. Same number. Switch the sign. Same with the y's. Y plus 3. What is that going to become? Minus for sure. Now we're working with a 3 here in this line. So what do you think is going to be over there? Take a minus 3. Okay, so officially then we can write it like this. Minus 2 and minus 3. The x goes first and then the y. And then just to graph it for you as well, because we had to work on that the other day, right? Let's make sure that's solid so that we can move forward. We got minus 2, minus 1, minus 2 for the x. And then down by 3. Down 1, down 2, down 3. So we go over by 2, down by 3. There we are to start with. And then slope and stuff from there. All right, so let's see what the, yeah, there we go, minus 2 and minus 3. Let's see what our next examples hold. Opposite sides again. Okay, you guys ready? I want to hear from you this time. What do we got? Lucky number 3. I'm just gonna write the answer down. Whatever you tell me. X1 is equal to what? Y1 is equal to what? Maybe I'll give a hint, opposites, right? Okay, the y is going to be minus 6. That's true. Nicely done. It's minus 3 on the screen. So I'll give you the 3. What's the opposite of the minus now? Plus. I'll put it in there just to emphasize it, right? So that means our point now on our graph, 3 and, that's a 3, believe it or not, and minus 6, that's right. So to plot it just for practice, slope, etc., right? Plot it for practice here. 3 along the x, 1, 2, 3. And then minus 6 along the y. We could do all the little dashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is usually bigger. Just out of habit. 6 like that. So we go to plus 3. We go down to minus 6. So that means we go plus 3 and then down minus 6. We're going to have our point right there. Slope and stuff after. After when? I think the next example. think I got 3 of each here, right? So let's take a look. Focusing now on, yeah, see, opposites, right? I think the next slide, yeah. I just wanted to highlight the opposite part as one of the important steps there. Yeah, here we go. Opposite signs and create the graph now. So there it is. Okay, so maybe you guys can get me started. What is the starting point for this example here? I think it's example 4. What's that? Yeah, so for x, it comes from x plus 5 is there on the screen, right? So that means opposite, minus 5 like that. What about the y? What's there? Yeah, plus 5, that's right. Okay. That's true. Okay, so now we're going for the graph, right? So we got our starting point, or 1 point on the graph. So I'm going to put that over here. Try and keep the page looking good. Minus 5. There it is. Minus 5, and there it is. Oh, plus 5. Don't want to tell you lies. Minus 5 for the x. Plus 5 for the y. So that means we are right there. Perfect. Now, just to highlight it for now, until you get some practice here, what is the slope? No. I'm going to remind you about this style. Minus 3 it is. You can hold it there. Yeah. We got, this is the overall style, right? The M is out in front of the X's that are there. So what number on the screen do you see in front of those X things? It's this X minus 5 or X plus 5 in our question, right? The number in front there is minus 3. Okay. No, for the slope, we're just looking for a number for now. If you want to start putting X's and stuff in there, that's like university 1. It is. It's like calculus stuff. Oh yeah, the slope is 3x squared minus 5 plus 7 after a function like this. Okay, so no, numbers for grade 10. Minus 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we can do the rise and run with this in order to get the next point. So here's something I think new for us, or at least a reminder. The slope of minus 3 is the same as minus 3 over 1 like that. And so this means from our starting point, by looking at this, what's going to happen is we're going to have a run of 1, a rise of minus 3. What happens is we go to the right by 1. And then because it's a minus, we go down by 3. From where? From our starting point that we figured out from doing opposites back in the original question. Okay, well then, with our starting point here at minus 5, if we go 1 to the right, I think you'd agree we're going to be at minus 4 then, okay? It's true. Then we go down by 3 from up here at a height of 5. If we go down by 3, where are we going to end up at? Keeping it secret, eh? Okay, let's pretend if we go down by 1 from up at 5 here, where are we going to be? If we go down by 1, we're going to be at 4, right? 1 for this direction. Okay, we go 1 in that way. And now in the y direction, we're going down by 3. So if we go down by 1, we're at 4. If we go down by 2, where are we at? 3, right? So if we go down by 3, where are we going to be at? 2 indeed. Okay, go down by 3. Or in other words, a minus 3 there if you like. Yeah. So that gets us to a second point. And then, since we have now 2 points, we connect the dots as best as we can here. Put the marker down, nice and straight, hopefully. Not bad, kind of missed the dots there. All right, need to draw the straight line in there. Okay, so maybe to highlight the points for you, over here we have a -5 and a +5. And then over here, where is this new point located at? Or the second point? The x value for this point lines up with -4. The y value for this new point lines up with +2. Okay, so it's going to get a bit messy in here for me. The new point is at -4 and +2, okay? Okay, so what do we have? Our original equation. Create the opposites for a starting point. Get the slope just by reading it off. All pretty quick if you don't have to speak through it, right? Get the slope. Make sure you get the slope as a fraction for the rise and the run. And then you can do it on the, draw the changes on the screen or on your graph to get to the second point. Done. All right, good people, this one here. What's this graph going to look like? I'll get you started because it's a little different, right? What we're talking about today is lines that look like this. And then what the heck? If you look at the screen there, we got y equals, oh, we got a set of brackets there. That's okay. Right? We got y, no minus, no y1. Everything else is starting to match up though. That's okay. So this is the one special thing to watch for. There's nothing here. So it's like subtracting 0 from it. If you don't subtract anything, it doesn't change. Okay. And so then we can update the equation so it looks like this. And so for our point, what we get for x1, y1, we're going to have 0. Oops, that's for the y. Don't be telling you lies. We got 0 for the y and opposite for the x as usual. Okay, so for the opposite of -2, we got +2 like that. So this now is going to be our starting point. Just had to think about the 0 a little bit. Yeah? Everything's the same afterwards. Why 0? Because this is the equation that we're given to work with, right? And so we're not allowed to change it. We can't say, oh, I don't want to graph this one. I want to graph this one plus 5 instead. You know, we got to keep it the same. So if you have, if you got 10 pencils in your pocket and then you take none of them away, you still have 10, right? Okay, see, so this trick doesn't change the question, but it helps us because of the way that it looks. It looks different. The equation is still the same. Yeah, and we can now move forward there. It's a little trick. Oh, when you should know add this 0 or not? Okay, look at this. For this style of question, we want y, we want subtract, and then another number. Look at this. There's no subtract y1. Where did it go? Right? That's the signal. Won't happen often, to be honest. And then, and second of all, there's actually another way around it. That's kind of a bit faster. But this is just to show how to think about these y1s, x1s, this trick of putting 0 in there. Okay. But then from here, it's, as I said, it's the way to proceed as usual. So I'm going to put it on. Can you see that still? There's a lot of 2's in this question, so let's just be careful. We got our point now of 2 and 0. Our slope is 2 from the graph. And so this is the same as 2 over 1. Create the fraction. Yeah? Okay. And then that's that. We should be good to go after that. 2 along the x, 1, 2. 0 along the y. So we actually stay right there. For the rise and the run, this says we go to the right by 1. And then we go up by 2. Okay, so if we're at 2 here, if we go to the right by 1, how far are we now? Where are we? Yeah, nice. Okay, we're over at 3 now. And then if we go up by 2, well, I mean, we're at 0, right? I'll take 2. Yeah. Up there now. At 2. Okay, right by 1, up by 2. Lay it down, use a ruler. You're seeing live what can happen if you don't. It's not so nice. That one's pretty good. Not like the other one. All right, but nice and neat, and yeah. Then you've successfully created the graph of these things. Okay, how are we doing for time? Oh, it's pie time, I think. I'm going to take 5 minutes today, pause the video, give you a chance to stretch your legs, and we will resume in 5 minutes. Zoom recording for part 2. By request, someone said all these formulas are starting to look the same. So here they all are so far. Good comment, actually. So we got the first one that we've seen. This is about finding the slope itself, calculating the slope itself from 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Sub them in there, substitute them in there and solve. This is the style of line that we looked at the other day. And this has the y-intercept. Oh, and even earlier today during our warm-up, right? has the y-intercept, crosses the y-axis at B, and then the slope that's in there. So slope-intercept for the name. And then this one still has slope. All these lines will. And the point that the line goes through, okay, is in there for x1, y1. So slope point form. Now, we did some examples earlier on about, highlighting. We need to have opposites. The numbers have to switch to their opposites. Did some graphing. So let's see what else we got here for examples. This is the one we just did before the break. Here's another one. Yeah, question from class. Oh, what's the M is going to, for this last one, what the M is going to be? Perfect. It is actually just on its own. From class is saying, what is the slope? And the slope is always the number that's in front of those set of brackets for this style. So the slope is 2, not 2x. Remember, leave that for university. So just 2, right? And then on the next page, paid careful attention to this, because watch. With the slope, what we need, there it isn't. Here it is. For the slope, it's given us 2, but we always have to treat it as a fraction. So if there's no number there, it means there's an invisible 1, and then we can move forward with that. Okay. On the bottom, it's usually going to be positive and to the right. The one on the top can be positive or negative, and so we'll go either up or down. Okay, so that gets us to our picture over here. We got our starting point, if you will, from our equation. Then we do exactly what the slope tells us to do. We go to the right by 1, and then we go up by 2. Right, so we did that here. We go to the right by 1, and then we go up by 2. That creates the second point. That allows us to draw the line in there then. You ready then for the next one? Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a look. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we got it here now, our equation, same style, but different numbers. And goodness, I think this is example number 6, if I'm numbering correctly. Okay, good people, so help me out now then. What is, slightly different way of writing it. What is our starting point going to be? For the x value, let's do that one first. Is it -2? Indeed it is, because inside of the brackets is a x plus 2 there. And then +3 for the y, so I'm guessing there's a, oh, and there it is. A y -3 on the screen there. So it becomes +3 inside like that. Okay, so that's true. True and good. We can just put it here for now. What's the slope going to be? -2 on its own? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So maybe let's make this automatic. If it's -2, like a single number, put it as 2 over 1 right away, right? That will help. Okay. Then to finish up the slope here, let's write the directions and such in as well. Yeah, the bottom is positive, so that's going to go to the right by 1. That takes care of that. Well, it's by 2 for sure, because we're staring at it too. But what does the negative mean?
Down. Okay.
This top number is for up or down. And Zoom got it. It's going to be down. Yeah. Down by 2. Okay. So -2. Now we're putting the starting point on. -2 and +3. And now we got to get our get to our other points. So we go to the right by 1 and then down by 2. What's that? It's true. Yeah, it goes to the right that way. Do we agree? I hope so. Otherwise, east is west, north is south. Not going anywhere. Okay, so from our starting point, -2 +3, that checks out. We go to the right by 1. So I'm going to do it, I'll do it in red, see how that works out. It goes to the right by 1. That's done. Now we're up here at height of 3. And we're going to go down by 2. So we go down by 1, down by 2, and there we are. There we end up at. Okay, so this part's now taken care of. The last bit, that's it. Sketch it in best as you can. Oh, disaster. That one's done. Yeah, pretty rough. Okay, but there we go. 2 dots. Once we got them, then we're good to go. Okay, so how is that? A little less confusing than before? Yeah? And notice the writing even. Way less, right? Had to show where these steps come from, opposites here, and x plus 2 and all that. Don't need it now that you've seen a few questions, right? So this is starting to look like how your answers would be. Oh, yeah, I need a point to start with. I'll just do the opposites in my head and write it down. Oh, I need the slope. Yeah, I'll make it a fraction. Take care of the directions. Good to go. Okay. Yeah, for this one here. So for this one here, what we're doing is we're going to be creating the equation of a line instead. A little more graphs. Okay, just finding the creating the equation. And this is a bit of a bigger deal because once you start being professional at things, you're going to often be creating an equation to describe what it is to describe the data that you're looking at, right? So what's going to happen? If you're given 2 points, the first thing you can do is you can get the slope between them. Right? Because these 2 points that we have, they're going to be on an XY axis. Right? There's a line going through them. You can just get the slope from them first. The second thing is you select one of those points. And what's interesting is that it doesn't matter which one. So choose the one with the nicest numbers, right? And then what are you going to do? We're going to substitute this in for x1 and y1. Into what? Into this thing. Into the equation that we've been looking at, the style that we've been looking at today. Yeah. Okay, good people. So we had this page up a little while ago with all those 1, 2, 3 equations. I'll just flash it again here for you. There they all are so far. We're going to find the slope first. Then we can put what we get directly into our answer, okay? So, find the slope. That will be y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. We got on the screen 1, 2, and 7, 9, right? Okay. Yeah, y2 is 9. I can substitute that in there directly if we're careful. Nice. Y1 is 2. That's also correct. X2. No. That's what, yeah. Yeah, so the number on top and underneath go together. Top and under go together, okay? So 9 for the y goes with what for the x?
7.
X2. Yeah, and on the screen it's 7, right? It is, you're right. It is x2. 9 and 7 go together. Yeah. And then over here, yeah, 1 minus 1. Nice. So this will get the slope. This will get us the 1 number. Get us closer. What do we got? Anything nice there? Yeah, 7 on the top. Over 6. Nothing reduces. So that's done. Okay, so we can put that value in there now, and we're a little bit closer. Oh. We do the slope formula to get this. We now have y minus y1 equals 7 over 6, x minus x1 like that. Yeah, just substitute it in. Replace. Math, they say substitute all the time, but just replacing. That's all it is. Okay, now it's just off the screen, but what we then do is select one of the points that we see up there. Select one of those points that were given and put it in for x1, y1. So it doesn't matter which point we use, but maybe the one without any minuses, just because it's probably easier to work with. So what point do you want to select from those 2 on the screen there? Both work. It doesn't matter which one. 1 and 2. Sounds good. Why'd you choose those ones? Small numbers. Absolutely. What the heck? But now, regardless, we got to put them in the right spot. This goes in for, the 1 goes in for what? Yeah, x1, okay. X1 is there, y1 is there. When we replace 2 for the y, right? Yep. When we replace, you might need brackets in case we have minuses over here. And then you might actually have to do a little bit of algebra in order to make this look in the right style. But for this one, done just like that. We had our starting format, y equals mx, or that's the other version. This one, found the slope, put it in there, selected a point, put it in there, finished. Is it time? I'm getting some rumblings from class here. What do we got? Got another one of those. Format first. Maybe we'll do this one. Last one. Last one.
Like, for this one, I need to do this, or
Yeah, that looks good.
yeah.
Yeah. Someone knocking at our window. We're on the 4th floor. How does that work? Okay, good people. For this one, watch. All you got to do. All you got to do. Always one more thing. Oh, this is it. I even lost track. I'm going to call it 8. I don't even know now. Yeah, format first. So you got to get the GFS out there on the right-hand side. In other words, you got to do some factoring, okay? Because it doesn't look the same. In the style we're going for, we got brackets on the right-hand side. Look on the screen. Any brackets on the right-hand side? No. So we got to get them, okay? Then life is good. So what we got? Y plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 6 there. Now, it was a little while ago, but you might be able to recognize what the GEFS is for these two. Peter, what you got? Yeah, it's going to be 2 for these ones, okay? If you forget, then there's that whole method we got. 2 like that, and then work it all out, right? It's 2. So that goes in the front. Now, what's going to be left over on the inside?
X minus X.
X for sure, minus for sure. No, not 6. 3. Okay.
Mhm.
Y stays over there. Check out the format, right? Y stays over there. Okay. So, remember we can do this method and we'll get our answer. Divide by 2. Oh, and minus 6. Divide by 2, we'll get X. Divide minus 3. You see, and that gives it right in there. Or if you want to get away from there, recognize it's a 2. Then you just divide each term by 2. 2x over 2, x. Minus 6 divided by 2, 3. Okay. So we get this now. And good people, this is the equation that that we are going for. Okay. Now, because it's the last question, here's a last question for you. What is the starting point going to be if we wanted to graph this thing? Be very careful. We have done a lot of examples. I have a lot more if you get this wrong. That's not very nice. But let's be, what do you have to remember? What's a key point for going from the equation to the starting point? M is 2. We can make that as an honorable mention to the side. if we wanted to graph this, we could, yeah, we could make note of that. Automatic like, that's smart. That it's good that that pops up. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, we got an x minus 3 in the equation there. So what is it going to be for the starting point? What's the one word, one thing we got to keep track of? Give you a head start.
2 minus 3.
Zoom, no, it's not that. You got to watch the order and the signs. Okay, so you got to watch the order and the signs. What number goes first? X goes first. Let's decide that. All right, and so where's the X value going to come from? Right hand side, left hand side. Well, what number is with the X? +3, I'm hearing already. Yeah, +3 already. It's true. And I know someone else got that a little while ago. That's good. Okay, and for this one, yeah, the Y goes next. You look over here. This missing word is opposite. Somehow. Oh, spelled it right. Got lucky. Okay, so what's the opposite of +2? -2. Okay, and then away you go if you needed to graph it. But we've done a few of those already. And so I think, good people, we're going to leave it there for today. All right, so from Zoom, first of all, you guys are all okay out there? Any questions?
No, thank you.
No, okay, you then complete your homework if you haven't handed it in yet. Today's work is up there, in Teams that is.
Yeah.
So you take a look there. And then, yeah, you're free to go if you like. We'll meet again tomorrow. For class, I got good old piece of paper here for you, for each of you, that I will hand out. And yeah, you can get started on this work for due tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
For both, I'm going to say odd numbers only. Just a second. I'm going to say,
Numbers.
yeah, this is day 24. So I'm going to say odd numbers only. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 2, 2, 2.
Okay.
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 All right, perfect. I'm going to stop the video then. Zoom, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you.
Class, I will look after you and right away.